Hello, welcome back. So we're now waiting for the release of Bittorrent Speed, which is going to be at some point today. I think from what I've worked out, I'm Greenwich Mean Time, so it's going to be early hours of the morning for me, so technically tomorrow. At that point, we're probably going to see a little bit of a boost for the price, but it's going to be an interesting one, really, because unlike something like a normal sort of mainnet release or a partnership or something like that being implemented, BitTorrent Speed is basically it's allowing the tokenization of an already functioning ecosystem. So really, it might not be the biggest pump you'd have ever seen in the world. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. When it comes online, I mean, there's very little information about it, but when it comes online, it states here that by default, the uTorrent client will be updated automatically to include BitTorrent Speed link in the left-hand side navigation menu. Open BitTorrent Speed to check your balance and activity at any time. It'll be an interesting one to even see it play out as it stands, because you'd be hard pressed to find a computer generally that, or a PC that someone that doesn't actually have a uTorrent or BitTorrent client. So everybody generally uses it. I think they say they've got 100 million users worldwide. I mean, that makes perfect sense to me. But I mean, what is it that you're going to have to be holding in those? What sort of torrents are going to be tokenized? I mean, I know back in the olden days, a lot of people that used things like this were using it for sort of illegal torrents for downloading films, music, and things like that. So obviously, people don't really do that anymore. If they do, they use VPNs or other things. So I mean, surely they can't be tokenized. That surely can't be the case. I mean, so it would be interesting to know what exactly it was, or is, and what it will be that will be tokenized. And I assume obviously your internet speed is going to play a large role in how many tokens you receive. If you have a super speed internet, for instance, you're contributing to the seeding of those torrents, and so surely those people should be rewarded more than the people who are just using a very slow internet, or maybe even using a Raspberry Pi, for instance, or something along those lines. So there'll be some aspect of rewards that will be greater for your internet speed. And that is just me thinking. I haven't read the entire white paper, but that surely is going to be how the tokenization is going to be played out for it. So let's have a look. I know I did a video of all the coins that I usually look at together, but let's just have a look at what's happening with the price of it at the moment. So we're on the daily chart here, and let's just go down to a lower time frame. Go to the hourly, for instance. So last night we did see a big pump, and now we're seeing a collapse on that, and actually coming back down to pretty much where we started. I mean, overall, we have had a little constructive wiggle up above these moving averages, and this was a big leap we did last night. Similar to what we did in the previous weekend, we did something almost exactly the same, and a little bit more volatile, but pretty much exactly the same, and then a big sell-off as a result. Now we're breaking beneath these are, I put them in here as resistances, really, but all resistances can turn to supports, depending on how constructive the gains were. So we broke above these resistances straight through both of them, actually, and looked as though we wanted to bounce from here. It looked like we were more bouncing from on the 7-day close, to be honest with you, and then a sell-off took place as we got to, what's this level, 0.00147. So a sell-off ensued as a result of that, almost exactly like what happened here. We peaked, we got to 0.001550, and the sell-off took place again. It feels like BitTorrent token wants to make these moves, but it just can't do it. And when we look at the chart as a whole after this, you could call it parabolic. It was definitely. It did a 2x, which is pretty good. But anyway, as a result of that falling down, we've been trending sideways, and really you could say that when we met this low here, this little low at this point here, which was 0.00115 or thereabouts, that was when us putting in a new low, and it kind of held. We came back down to test this area here again, and we bounced from there. So it's not. I always say this. It's not bearish, but it's not really bullish. But it's ever so slightly in favour of the bulls than it would be the bears on this coin. So we're expecting to see some moves at this point now, because we've got this Bittorrent speed coming around the corner. Should do it some favours. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I mean. It's tokenizing an already existing ecosystem, incentivizing people to, leave their computers on or be rewarded for what they're already doing. So you could look at it on the flip side of things. What it is also doing is it's actually issuing quite a substantial amount of BitTorrent token onto the market for free for what people are already doing, and up until that point, BitTorrent tokens have been available on more exchanges than I could care to mention. So people have been actually purchasing them. They have been bought, and now they will be issued out for free, and probably for the most part sold on again. And it's that that actually would concern me a little bit, because that may, and I could stand to be corrected, but that may actually devalue the currency, causing because there's going to be millions, billions even of these tokens issued out for free to people who are already seeding torrents, and now there'll be more people who are looking to do it just to receive these BitTorrent tokens. So what we really need to start to see is, this chart I'm relatively happy with anyway, because it's showing relative strength despite trending sideways. But what we would really like to see is an increase in its volume, an increase in its upwards trend, and the fact that people will be issued these coins free of charge for doing something that they're already doing would generally suggest that that's likely to cause an opposite effect. So it'll be an interesting one to see play out. I'd like to see this top here be taken out, the 0.001550. Probably will be taken out as a result of the hype when the BitTorrent speed comes out. But to come up around here again would require active trading and general increase in value. And we will look at the Satoshi pairing. It is suffering because it's such a small Satoshi value. Every time Bitcoin makes leaps and strides like it is currently doing at the moment, and it's probably likely to do again for the next week or two, and probably a little more, then we will only suffer more when it comes to the Bitcoin pairing. So it'll be, like I say, it'll be very interesting to see how this BitTorrent speed plays out as a result, because by definition, it's issuing out free tokens to an already existing ecosystem to 100 million users already, who will now be receiving BitTorrent tokens essentially for free. And who are more than likely going to go onto trading platforms to exchange them for, other coins, or perhaps maybe even Bitcoin. Only increasing the value of a Bitcoin, or Ethereum, or whatever it is that they're looking to exchange them for. So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how it plays out. I do like the coin, however. It is one of my favourite alts, only really because of this sideways trend it's been having. And you look at some of the IEO coins, and you look at actually some of the altcoins in general, you will see much deeper corrections take place when Bitcoin makes strides than this. Now we did fall very dramatically here, so that is one thing to take on board, but generally it actually looks okay to me, and it's just this whole moment we're going through right now where, look, the 1 hourly suggests we've got a long way to go, even at this current correction that's taking place here, this big sell-off that we're having here. We're finding a bounce now just now looking at it now, finding a bounce on the 200 EMA. Now, if that were to break, then there is really no support other than this one all the way back down here, and that'd be very sad to see it fall all the way back down there on the dawn of its BitTorrent speed release. Let's just have a look at some higher time frames just while we're here together. Yeah, I mean we're finding bounces on these moving averages here on the 4 hourly. So yeah, maybe a bounce would take place around 13 or thereabouts. And on the daily, we are also bouncing on the moving averages, which are all converging. So this area here is a bit of a just above 0.0013 is a very strong support currently, but if it were to break, we would come back down to 0.00124. So yeah, a very interesting situation is about to play out over the next 24 to 48 hours. So I'll leave it with you there, and let me know your theory on what's likely to happen as a result of BitTorrent speed being released, and what the future would hold for BitTorrent token, and given everything that I've said. So yeah, thanks for watching anyway. Stay tuned for more. I hope you have a nice day. Ooh, take it easy.